Ravens flock, what's going on? I hope everybody's having a good week so far. So we're a few hours away from Monday Night Football. It'll be the Ravens versus the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to be playing in Los Angeles. This will be the sequel to the Harbaugh Bowl. Of course, this will be the first time since our last Super Bowl appearance where the Harbaugh brothers will play each other. This is a game where there's a lot at stake. The Chargers are about 2 games behind the Chiefs in the AFC West, and we are 1 game behind the Steelers in the AFC North. And then also, of course, we're still fighting for playoff positioning in our wild card spots. So there's still a lot at stake here. As far as our injury reports are concerned, Roquan Smith has not practiced, and it's unlikely that he'll be playing in this game. Tyler Linderbaum will most likely play. He's questionable, but he did practice, a limited practice. I'm assuming he's playing. Sanusi Kane got hurt last week. He's not a player that's big on our team, but still, he's most likely not playing. Travis Jones has been banged up, but I'm assuming he's going to play, of course. Now, the Chargers are a very tough team under Jim Harbaugh. They've had a big rebranding since Jim Harbaugh came over a couple months ago. They are a much tougher team than they were in previous years. In my opinion, Jim Harbaugh is a better coach than John Harbaugh. Even John has admitted, he hasn't said that Jim's better than him, but he's definitely admitted that Jim is one of the better coaches of his generation. This Chargers offense versus our defense is going to be an interesting matchup to see. Their offense has really started to gel over the past couple of weeks. Now, the Chargers don't necessarily have like a true number 1 wide receiver, but Quentin Johnston, who had a terrible rookie season, he's starting to look better. He's having a better season than he did last year. Ladd McConkey has had several big games this year. J.K. Dobbins has been balling this year. He's also been able to remain healthy. But this is still a Greg Roman offense, and at the end of the day, if there's anybody who should be able to stop a Greg Roman offense, it should be the Baltimore Ravens. If there's anybody who should be able to understand a Greg Roman offense, it should be the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm expecting our defense to be able to keep everything in check. Not saying that I still think they're going to score, but I believe that we'll be able to keep the scoring to a minimum, but we'll see how that goes. Kyle Hamilton in this game will most likely wear the green dot. At least that's what I'm assuming. Last time we had a safety wear a green dot. Who was that? Was that Chuck Clark? I think it might have been Chuck Clark or Deshaun Elliott. Remind me who that was, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's been a minute since Roquan wasn't not only not here, but also not wearing the green dot. I'm very interested to see not only how this works out, but also I'm interested to see if our defense has officially figured things out and turned a corner. Because despite us losing to the Steelers last week, our defense had really their second best performance of the season. Like, they kept the Steelers out of the end zone. They limited them to 6 field goals, and 2 of those field goals I almost don't want to count them, but because we had key fumbles so deep in our own territory to where that set them up for a couple easy field goals. But as far as like regular possession goes, we had a bend but don't break sort of look last week, which I was excited to see because we've been broken so many times earlier in the year. So it was interesting to see us look like a competent defense for once this year. A few days ago, Harbaugh announced that there are going to be some new changes, like Darius Washington is officially going to be the new starter, which should have happened weeks ago, but it is what it is. At least they're figuring that out now. So I'm definitely happy for Darius that he's getting a chance to show what he's got. He's been overachieving all year long, and I remember last week I said that Brandon Stevens was most likely going to lose his job to Tre'Davious White. That's most likely not going to happen. Of course, like coming off of that game, like most people, like most fans, you get pretty emotional, and you got to take a second to step back and look at it realistically. Like, John Harbaugh's not going to bench Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens is one of Harbaugh's guys, and for better or for worse, Harbaugh is not going to abandon him. Just like how many of us want him to abandon Lele, but Harbaugh simply is refusing to. He's not going to abandon Brandon Stevens. But still, regardless of that, I still think our defense can turn around and have a good day for the most part and finish this season on a better note than what we got started with. Travis Jones is banged up, but he's still going to be out there. He's still going to be a force, and I'm hoping that even though the Chargers have a really good offensive line, I'm hoping that we could still create pressure. Tavius Robinson, Matabike, I'm still hoping and expecting them to make a couple plays, create some pressure. I don't think coverage should be a problem in this game just because compared to the other teams we've played this year, the Chargers have probably the weakest group of pass catchers that we've played all year. Because that's part of the excuse that many of us have given our secondary this year is the fact that we've had some really tough assignments playing people like Jamar Chase twice, T. Higgins, then also Mike Evans and Devontae Adams and all these people, Brock Bowers and all these very good and in some cases elite pass catchers. But in the case of the Chargers, like I said earlier, Quentin Johnston, he has been having a better season. He already has 6 touchdowns, multiple big plays. Ladd McConkey's had a few big games. But at the same time, this still compared to the other pass catchers that we played this year, this is not a super impressive group. So I would hope that our secondary can have a game where we can really build some confidence. And we'll see how that plays out. But as far as offensively, I think our offense will bounce back. I'm not too worried about that. Even though the Chargers have an elite defense, I think we will bounce back. I mean, we've played 11 games and we've looked completely dominant in about 10 out of 11 games. So I don't think that trend of what we looked like last week is going to continue. I think they're going to get Derrick Henry going early. But then also, I hope they get Keaton Mitchell involved in this game. We saw Keaton Mitchell last week, but it was only for special teams play. I believe Keaton Mitchell did have one run for 30 yards, but it got called back for some penalty, which again is another issue that we have as a team is just discipline and unnecessary penalties, shooting ourselves in the foot. I believe Justice Hill's going to play in this game. I'm assuming Justice will be involved too, but I want to see us be less predictable. Like we've been saying all year, it seems obvious that when Justice is in the game, we're going to pass the ball, and when Derek's in the game, we're going to run the ball. I would like to see that flipped where we give Justice a few more carries and we give Derrick Henry a few more screen passes. And especially because last week we threw 1 or 2 screen passes to Derrick, and it went for a decent sized game, but of course it got called back because of penalties. But I'm expecting our running attack to have a much more dominant game than we did last week. And not that we had a bad game last week. I mean, we had 120 yards on 19 attempts, but I'm expecting even more than that this week. As far as our passing game, still expect our passing game to do well this week. I'm expecting the same people, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely to get their share of targets and do what they've been doing all year, essentially. I'm still waiting to see if Deontay Johnson actually has a good game with us yet. It's, this is now entering his 3rd week with us. And, the first couple weeks, of course, is just him trying to build chemistry with Lamar and learn the playbook. So over the next couple games, we're going to see if he's actually going to make a difference on our team. I'm still expecting us to win. I think this is a very winnable game. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you think we have a shot at winning this game? And what do you think the final score is going to be?